Okay, we're going to show you our inexpensive and very lightweight backpacking cooking kit. So this is primarily what it's composed of, and I'll give you some links for what everything is, but got a larger mug, got a smaller cup, a fuel canister, a BRS stove, and then some accoutrements. So I'm going to show you how it's set up just so you can get an idea of how this works. So we've got this stand, because especially with this smaller canister, which will fit inside this cup, sometimes it can be a little shaky. So this provides a lot more stability. Now, second part of that system is this windscreen. And I'll tell you a little bit more how we built this and what it's made out of. It's essentially a piece of conduit that's for a dryer. It was a $3 or $4 piece we picked up at Home Depot. It's the same one we built the lid out of. And you can get two of these windscreened out of each piece of the conduit or piping, or I'm not sure exactly what you call it. But it's just kind of a lighter weight aluminum piping for dryers. Anyway, we built this. I kind of picked up some ideas from some other people. It's 19 inches long by 5 3/4 inches wide. Each of these flanges are 2 inches wide this way, and then about an inch the way across. So we cut them and bent them up, and then you just kind of tweak them at the end, and they'll all roll up together. You put it just above the control. This controls the gas. If you put it right above that and lock it together. Now these are made out of baling wire. You kind of wrapped them around a nail to give the corkscrew, and then figured out how long they should be and kind of bend them up. You stick the L end in, and you kind of corkscrew around that end, and do that for each one. Now when you're building this, just take some time to get the corkscrews just right. If they're too long, they don't wind on. If they're too short, they don't wind on. But once you get one or two of them figured out, it goes on pretty easy. You can see that will hold the screen up, and it leaves it free on the bottom so you can adjust the temperature by adjusting the gas. And it also protects it as a windscreen, so where the fuel's actually coming in, where the air, it basically allows it to get air below the fuel so it doesn't putter out. Sometimes windscreens will actually choke off the air. It also protects the canister from getting overly hot. If they get overly heated, they can explode, so they're not you can't use them with typical windscreens, but with this one you can, because you can put your hand right on the fuel canister and it'll never get too hot. Take the lighter, just kind of hold it at the base. And then there's this hole right here that allows you to look through. You can then put your pot on, a little cutout there. And if you want to see how the fuel's doing, you can look down through there and kind of see how big the flame is or small it is. There's just enough room on the outside that it forces the air up and around and will improve the efficiency quite a bit. You can see that stove will kick on. So after you've heated up, these can go hot. I didn't run it very long, but you definitely want to let it cool down under normal circumstances. And it does take a little tinkering to get everything just right, to get all those folds. If you're interested, I can give you more information about how to do it. But typically, if you had water in here, you'd heat it up to boil. The lid just kind of is held on by tension. Put your food in there, put the lid back on, and after the water started boiling, so now you let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes depending on the recipe. And so that it actually heats your food up and cooks it all the way without getting too cold. You've got this cozy. That'll slip right down in there. That goes on top. And with that, your food will easily cook. You may need to boil the water for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 if you've got it all the way full or mostly full. But you don't need to sit there and use your fuel while it's simmering. So that'll sit for 10 to 15 minutes. When you get done, just put it in like that. Pop the lid off and eat right out of the mug. Now, the best part of this whole system, in my opinion, is it all fits together quite nicely. Curl the screen up, put it in this larger mug. You've got another cup or bowl if you want it. I will sometimes admit this, and this will actually take one of the larger canisters of fuel for like a longer trip, or if I just want to save the weight of the cup. But if you do want an extra cup, this works as well. Pop that in there. Oh, and just to point out, on the cup, this is just one of those bands that the kids get for a variety of purposes. We just stretch that around, and that'll actually keep your lip from burning if you drink something hot in it. And this is just silicone tape wrapped around, and that way you can grab the middle, and you don't need a hot pad or something. And to point out, so this came with a handle. We cut the handle off. This is made out of bent hangers, clothes hangers. And then this is a piece of silicone tubing that I bought off of eBay, but you can find it in a few places. Again, I'll put some links in this as well. But it slips over, and that way, if you could put this on a campfire and it won't melt the silicone. It's quite heat resistant. And so also when you're putting in the cozy, you can kind of just push that up against, and that silicone acts as the hot pad, and then you can just slip that in the cozy, and that way you don't need a separate hot pad. But anyway, that goes all inside there. banister to go in. This is to clean up afterward. This was from it's a reusable rag from a dollar store. There was several of them in there, and that'll last several trips. That all goes down in there. Struts. Now it fits quite well. We're going to put an elastic band around that to kind of just hold that top on because it's a little loose, so we can get it on and off without fighting it too hard. Here's the best part. Entire system with fuel. Just over a pound. And that's with a full fuel canister that would probably last one person with this setup for a week. Now that's amazingly lightweight, and the total cost for us to build this was under $40. I think it was pretty close to $30 with the second cup. Without the second cup, it would be really close to $30, and that's actually including the cost of the fuel. So $25 for the setup, another $5 for fuel. That's extraordinarily inexpensive and lightweight. So there you go.